Success can mean very different things depending on your team, your goals, and where you're starting out from. Let's look at a few examples. So we've got 3 companies here, and for each one, we'll look at what a bad definition of success looks like versus a good definition of success. So let's start with LumenPay. They're a fintech company handling global payments for contractors trying to get paid. A bad definition of success for them might look like, hey, let's just see what this AI agent can handle. Here, there's no real clear outcome, there are no metrics, and there's no real clear business need. So let's look at a good definition of success for them, and we'll use the SMART goal-setting framework to make sure our goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to our objectives, and time-bound. So the goal would be maybe to get the AI involved in 80% of our conversations related to payment topics. And we want to resolve 40% of them. The timeline we have is the next 30 days, so this is going to be time-boxed and not open-ended. To track success, we'll look at the percentage of these queries resolved without escalation, and also look at the total number of escalations and see if there was a drop. Let's move on to Skybound then. So Skybound are a free-to-play gaming studio. Let's look at what a bad definition of success looks like for them. So they might say, hey, we just want help with an upcoming launch. Well, this is a bit vague, and there's no real way to track or adjust anything here. So a good definition of success looks like this. For the AI agent to handle 60% of our login account questions that come from free users. So we're looking at a specific area of questions and a specific segment of customers. For the timeline, we're looking at over the next 3 months when we're launching a new game. And the outcome we're looking for is faster player support and also reducing load on the team during this period so they can focus on paying customers, not the free ones. The metrics we can use to gauge success are resolution rate of conversation handled by the AI agent, and we're going to look at the customer satisfaction score for those answers. So again, really clearly defined and very specific. And our last example, Thread and Thimble, they're a sustainable e-commerce fashion brand. A bad definition for them might look like, hey, we're just hoping to reduce support load. Well, aren't we all? But again, there's no real focus here, no real tracking method, but a good definition of success might look like reducing repetitive order tracking and return questions by 30%. So the outcome that we're looking for here is that our human team will have more time to focus on high-value support, VIP customers maybe, or urgent questions. So we have a timeline and a goal in place, and we're going to measure this by a drop in tickets for these types of questions and time saved for agents per day. A few important reminders. Partial wins matter too. So don't think of results as all or nothing. If you set a target of 40% and you only reach 20, that's still 20% of conversations being resolved automatically that weren't being handled before. And that's time saved for your team and faster responses for your customers. The second is launch early, learn early. Now, the sooner you go live, the sooner you start collecting real data. This means the sooner you can actually optimize and improve those numbers. Perfection is not the goal, but progress. A good starting benchmark is what we call 40-40. That's a 40% involvement rate and a 40% resolution rate. Hitting 40-40 means you're off to a good start and a strong indicator that your AI agent is delivering real value. Now, over time, you can scale further depending on your team's capacity and content. But start with a clear number and remember that momentum builds from early wins. Another thing to ask yourself is, can you actually support the goal that you've picked? This is just in terms of capacity for yourself and your team. This is often where teams get stuck. They aim too high. Say, for example, trying to hit a 90% resolution rate right out of the gate. They actually don't stop to ask whether they have the help content in place for that, or ask, do we have strong content ownership in place to ensure the accuracy required? Or do we have someone who can monitor the performance and lead improvements? Do we need to hire someone? Do we need professional services or a working group within our own organization? The key here is to be really honest about what's achievable in your set time period, whether that's 30 days, 60 days, or even just 2 weeks. You can always build from there. Before you move on, you'll want to formulate what your plan is. To do that, ask yourself a couple of quick questions. What is your primary goal? And what are the one or two key metrics you're going to use to track success? Who are your key stakeholders? Is it a support lead in your team, a content owner, or an analytics partner? And finally, when are you going to start? When are you going to check in? And when are you going to report on progress? So defining success isn't just about tracking numbers. It's about aligning your team around a shared target, something everyone can plan around and measure against. And then you can build momentum from there.